we are about to break down one of the biggest, most invisible bottlenecks to your performance, the cost of switching tasks. Now, this isn't about working harder or longer. It's about understanding the basic physics of your own mind. It's about you becoming the architect of your own attention, not just a frantic operator trying to keep up. We're going to re-architect how you work right from the neural level. Just let that sink in for a moment. That feeling of sluggishness, that brain fog you're pushing through every single afternoon, what if it's not just fatigue? What if it's the cognitive weight, the literal neural information of everything you just did still clinging to your attention? These aren't just metaphors. These are real cognitive artifacts, ghosts in your neural machine, and they are sabotaging your performance on what you need to do right now.
Come on, we've all been there, right? You jump into your inbox for what you promise yourself will be just 2 minutes, a productive pause. But when you come back to that important project, that creative work, you feel like you're starting from absolute zero. You're just staring at the screen and your brain feels, empty. The momentum is gone. That brilliant idea you had is just vanished. This isn't you failing. It's a biological reality called task switching latency, and it's costing you everything. So here's our game plan for completely re-architecting your focus. First, we're going to shatter the hallucination of speed. Then we'll name the enemy, the attention residue hijack. After that, we'll build the solution with the gating engine protocol, and we'll unpack the science of the shift so you know why it works. Then I'll give you a tactical 1-minute gear shift you can use today, and we'll wrap it all up with the core philosophy, engineered focus. Let's start the upgrade.
First up, we have to tear down a myth we've all bought into. This idea that being a high performer means you're juggling a million things at once. We wear busy like it's a badge of honor. But the actual neuroscience of focus tells a totally different story. Here's the paradox. The faster you try to switch between tasks without a protocol, the slower your brain actually gets the work done. The frantic pursuit of speed actually creates slowness. And this lays it out perfectly. On the one hand, we have our beliefs. We believe in multitasking mastery. But in reality, there's task switching latency, a biological tax you pay for every single switch. We think the answer is to just try harder, to muscle through the brain fog. The real solution is learning how to properly shift gears. We chase more discipline when what we really need is a better configuration of our own minds. This isn't a game of effort, it's a game of architecture. This right here is the perfect way to picture the problem. Your conscious mind, the CEO you, wants to work on that big, important strategy deck. But your subconscious hardware is still running the program from that last Slack conversation. It's still in the parking lot. So you're flooring the gas pedal, demanding performance, but the car's transmission is still in park. You're not unfocused, your brain's operating system is just stuck. Okay, so let's give this enemy a name, because you can't defeat what you can't identify. This isn't just a vague feeling of being scattered. It's a specific, measurable cognitive problem. By naming it, we go from feeling frustrated to having a precise diagnosis. We're about to take this invisible wall that's been holding you back and make it visible, concrete, and totally manageable. This is it, attention residue. It's the reason you reread the same sentence 5 times after checking your email. It's the mental static from your last meeting that stops you from dropping into a state of deep creative flow. These ghosts are real. They're measurable in brain scans, and they are silently, absolutely killing your productivity. And the cost? It's staggering. Seriously, research shows that a single unplanned context switch, a quick glance at a notification, a 2-second check on a message, can create a focus gap of over 20 minutes. That's 20 minutes for your brain to fully get rid of the residue from the last thing and get back to the same level of depth you were at before you were interrupted. Think about that. Just 6 of those a day, and you've lost 2 full hours of your best brain power. And this creates a vicious cycle. It starts when you switch tasks, which creates something called neural inertia. Your brain wants to keep doing what it was just doing. Because of that, your brain, which is wired to conserve energy, sees the huge metabolic cost of refocusing and just says, nope. It literally vetoes your attempt at deep focus. You feel this veto as brain fog. You then burn precious glucose, your brain's fuel, just trying to convince your brain to get on board. Over time, your whole system learns this state of conditioned distraction, and the feeling of work becomes chaotic. This is a system failure, not a character flaw. Okay, we've defined the problem. We've named the enemy. Now let's build the solution. This is the moment we stop being a victim of our own neurology and start becoming its architect. We're not talking about simple tips or hacks here. We're talking about a powerful engineered protocol designed to take back control. This is where we stop hoping for focus and start building an architecture where focus is the inevitable outcome.
This is the crucial shift in strategy. Trying to focus is like pushing a giant boulder uphill. It relies on willpower, and willpower is a finite resource that runs out fast when you're fighting your own biology. Building the gate, on the other hand, is a structural play. You create a clear boundary between one mental state and the next, which lets your brain make the switch cleanly and efficiently. You're no longer fighting the current, you're redirecting the entire river. So, the gating engine has 3 core layers. Think of them as the pillars of your new cognitive architecture. First, the RAM audit, where we clear out all the lingering data. Second, neural engineering, where we use our physical body to send a clear end signal to the brain. And third, rule set priming, where we preload the instructions for the next task to get instant momentum. Let's break each one down. The first step is the RAM audit. Think of your working memory like the RAM in your computer. It's super fast, but very limited. Attention residue is like having 20 old apps running in the background, just eating up all your processing power. So before you start something new, you stop and ask a different question. Not what's on my to-do list, but what thoughts from my last task are still running in the background. You identify that noise and you mentally close those loops. It's like a RAM booster for your brain. Next up, neural engineering. The whole goal here is to make the transition between tasks more real and deliberate than the work itself. So instead of just sliding from one browser tab to the next, you do a hard physical reset. Stand up, stretch, walk around the room for a second, close your laptop lid, and then reopen it. This physical action isn't just symbolic, it's a direct command. It sends a powerful end signal to your brain, telling your entire nervous system that the old context is officially closed. And the final step is rule set priming. Before you even touch the keyboard, you hard-code your objective. It's like a pilot running a pre-flight checklist. You physically write down, on paper, one single sentence that defines what success looks like for this next session. Draft the 3 key arguments for the intro, or debug the user login flow. This simple act primes the right circuits in your brain and creates instant momentum. It's the difference between starting a cold engine and one that's already warm and ready to go. So this all sounds good in theory, but why does it actually work on a biological level? Let's get into the science. Because this isn't pop psychology. This is a system grounded in the hard science of how your brain processes information. Understanding the why is what turns this from a trick you try once into a system you live by. The entire gating engine protocol is built on this one scientific principle: task set reconfiguration. This is the very real process your brain goes through to unplug from one set of rules and goals and then load up a new one. Now, this process has a real metabolic cost. It literally burns your brain's fuel. Our chaotic switching habits make this process incredibly inefficient and expensive, which is exactly why your brain fights back. The gating protocol is designed to make this process as cheap and efficient as possible for your brain. And this visualizes the effect perfectly. On the left, you've got chaotic toggling, jumping from email to Slack to your report. The cognitive cost is through the roof. Your brain is just burning energy and releasing stress hormones. But on the right, you have engineered shifting, using the gating engine. By deliberately managing the transition, you manually lower that energy cost. You make it easy for your brain to do what you want it to do. And here's the ultimate payoff. Your cognitive energy is finite. When you're constantly fighting attention residue, you're playing defense. You're wasting all your energy just trying to resist the pull of the last task. By architecting your shifts, you reallocate that energy. You go from defense to offense. You invest that power into creativity and execution. You go from a state of neural friction to a state of neural coherence. Okay, let's make this real. Let's get practical. You can implement this in the next 60 seconds. The very next time you switch from one task to another today, I want you to run this simple sequence. This is your 1-minute gear shift. Here it is, the buffer sieve. It is incredibly simple. First, as you transition, just identify your residue. Stop for 10 seconds and ask, what am I still thinking about? Just name it. Second, execute the shift. Stand up, take one deep breath, close your eyes, and mentally visualize saving and closing the file on that last task. Give it a clean ending. Third, write your rule set. Before you do anything else, grab a sticky note and write down one sentence declaring your intention. Something like, finalize the budget chart. That's it. Identify, shift, write. It's the most powerful minute of your day. So as we wrap up, I want to zoom out to the core idea here. Because mastering this isn't just about learning a new technique.
It's about adopting a completely different belief about where high performance really comes from. It's about upgrading your entire mental operating system. This is the core thesis. Your scatteredness is not a character trait. It is a hardware problem. It's the result of a misconfigured system running inefficient code. So stop blaming yourself and start being the architect of your own mind. Stop trying to outmuscle your biology with willpower and start working with it by engineering clean, deliberate, powerful shifts. At the end of the day, your impact is a direct result of the quality of your attention. You can't produce high-resolution work from a low-resolution mind that's cluttered with static. Greatness isn't about how much you can juggle, it's about how cleanly you can shift gears until only the essential remains. This is the master skill. Shift the gear to claim the impact. So the only question is, what gear are you going to shift today?